uh, Sweet Baby Incorporated CEO makes it clear she wants to erase white male lead characters while employee shows disdain for white people. I got a bunch of Sweet Baby Incorporated ones lined up. Now, I'm not saying it's Gamergate 2, but all the usual suspects are circling the wagons, much like the Gamers Are Dead article that initiated Gamergate back in the day. Oh, God. Trump's going to be in office and Gamergate 2 is starting off. Oh, God. I love this timeline. Okay. Contain myself. Blah, blah, blah. Sweet Baby Incorporated CEO Kim Blair made it abundantly clear that the company wants to erase white male lead characters while company's employee Maya Kramer expressed her disdain for white people. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. This here really sets the tone. This here's a paragraph sets the tone for the entirety that is Sweet Baby Incorporated. Okay, just a little background for anyone who hasn't been following this here so far. So, Sweet Baby Incorporated is I want to say like a consulting contract firm. Pretty much what they do, pretty much what they are is they're a company of writers for hire, and they do a lot of work for games and TV shows and shit like that. But the thing is, they are woke. They are unironically woke communist pieces of shit, and they have all the usual talking points of like misogyny and what it's like patriarchy and all the good stuff we heard back in 2014 never really went away. It kind of just congealed into certain companies, and this is one of them. She answered, "We're hitting what, 40 years of video games, and I think people are starting to ask why are we making very similar products? Because those products sell. Why are a lot of our stories not resonating with younger audiences? Because you're a bunch of fucking communist cucks. Why are our audiences not growing? Because you put out a shit product and no one wants to buy it. I like to say that representation is innovation. No, it's death. I think when people are asking for diverse stories, we're not asking for the same story with, diverse characters. Oh, ho, ho. Oh, and how is that working out for you there, Cupcake? I wouldn't even trust her to send her back to the kitchen, because honestly, she would fuck up anything she touches. We look at story and narrative as one of the things we can innovate on. Yeah, that's because you can't program. In fact, you can't even write. So you don't even have that. She continued. Like when you bring someone from a different culture, from a different background, from a different gender, they're going to create something that we haven't seen before. Motherfucker. Everyone wants to be like Goku. Doesn't matter their race. Everyone wants to be Goku. They don't want to be Black Goku. They want to be Goku. Fuck. Next, she said, the way we look at demographics is that we go, okay, the majority of our player base is, let's say, white male. White male. The white devil himself. So we're going to make stuff for white males, but if you make something for a perspective of an Asian trans woman, no such thing, it's really strong, then it will work for people. Blair explained people crave new stories. That if you want to innovate, even stay current, it's not about graphics. It's not about hardware. It's about opening new perspectives for people. No, motherfucker, it's about the gameplay. You play games for the gameplay. Stories are irrelevant. Gameplay is all. But then again, these are the people who don't consider merit a thing. This is like a merit and work and ethic and games journalism. All this shit here is anathema to these people. Like I have all the links posted in Discord. You can read the entirety of all these quotes and stuff. It's just one giant brain aneurysm in progress of all this stupid shit. And like we covered before, like all the companies they look like when I was interviewing, not interviewing, when I had to collab with Uber Sold at, like I showed the infographic of all the companies they work with. And I've always been familiar with these guys here, but it really came to my attention literally before this blew up, in that they are the lead writers effectively for Wizards of the Coast right now. Like all their Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering stories and stuff, that these guys. You know, like like Chandra and Nissa being scissoring each other and stuff. That's these guys doing. So that's my little tangent on that. Okay, here's this Kramer broad. Pay me to shoot down your white male lead game ideas. She also appeared to take issue with game developers were white and male. She wrote in January 2014. What a funny time that was. Looking around the mixer last night put in perspective how white and male our dev scene really is. It's really white and male. It's like, yes. Your point being, you fucking sexist, racist whore? I had a nightmare that was a white male gamer. Oh, the horror. The horror of it. Okay, so this is a little more background of why this has blown up right now. So the reason why Sweet Baby Incorporated is blown up right now is that there is a Steam game list, a curated list of all the games that they've worked on and stuff, and much like Gamergate back in the day and stuff, they are claiming the fact that someone is like making a list of, okay, here's a list of all these here businesses you can choose to do business with or not and stuff, and they are treating this curated game list on Steam as a hate campaign, and they're looking to mass report and cancel this list and anyone involved with it and stuff. And by golly, we're covering some of that. Going over some of the games they worked on. They've worked on a lot of shit. Not just like this little lineup of games here. They've worked on a lot of material and stuff. Yeah, this is the client list I went over the other day and stuff. And you can look at it. My point of contention was like, oh, they work for Wizards of the Coast. That makes a lot of sense. Given the complete and utter shit of the Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons storylines and stuff, the fact that it's completely and utter shit right now, it makes a lot of sense. So, moving on to the next bit. Okay. I'm going to go super into this one. The title says it all. Sweet Baby Incorporate CEO and co-founder Kim Blair compares white male gamers to picky babies. So picky babies are the gamer equivalent of the basket of deplorables at this point. Sweet Baby Incorporated CEO, co-founder Kim Blair previously compared white male gamers to picky gamers as she explained how her company gained influence on major game developers during the 2019 Game Developers Conference. Beginning of the presentation, Blair made abundantly clear what her and her company's goals are. We do narrative development in games and kind of beyond, and try to bring inclusion, diversity, and new ideas kind of to the industry. Later in her presentation, she also confirmed that the company acts as sensitivity readers for video games, saying, "We need sensitivity readers, we need risk assessment, and these are like, again, important services that I literally like list on every PDF that I send out. Be like, hey, can I do risk assessment for sensitivity training? It's like, please, I need to, please hire me. I need to justify my liberal arts major." It's like, fuck this cunt. About 2/3 through the 30-minute presentation, Blair compared white male gamers to picky babies, picky babies, saying, "I think our industry is so many creative industries. If you want to look at film and television and ADR film, we start treating our core demographics like fixed static value. Something does not want to change, something that's locked in place." Yes, that's why gatekeeping works. So despite changing face of audience, despite changing face at conferences like this one, we still look at our core demographic and say, okay, they're white, cis, hetero males, and we cater almost exclusively to them. And the problem is that we don't just cater to them like, there's something that we think you'll enjoy. We cater to them like a picky baby. She elaborated. We feed them the same thing we know and that they love, and they keep on feeding it. We're like, here you go. We know you love it. Eat this, eat this, eat this. So when they get anything else, they react as a picky baby would, which would be like, "Oh no, thank you, I don't want this." And we actually done this so long, what we're doing is creating an entire nation of picky babies, and they want to make us scared to deviate from what we actually want to do in case these picky babies don't want to play our games. Well, motherfucker, here's a concept that you communists never understand. This concept is very simple. It's very descriptive. It's called supply and demand. If there is no demand, what you're supplying, you're going to go out of business, cupcake. Free market, baby. You're in America. You're a slave to the almighty dollar, much like the blacks are slave to the almighty cotton. Her belly aching over more shit. Just going on and on and on. Okay, I like this I like this here bit. Ironically, all of Belair's comments contradict recent comments made by Chris Kindred on her now deleted Blue Sky account, where she claimed the company was not doing any of this and had no influence on major studios, which is what they're bragging about now. So, that's where the contradiction comes in. Kindred posted on the social media platform, trolling their forums and chats and realizing that they don't care about Sweet Baby at all. Sweet Baby is just the most visible and most vulnerable. They think we're some super firm funded by BlackRock, receiving ESG funding and tasked by some entity to hold studios hostage. Because that's what literally you were until the ESG money ran out. And now you don't got Big Daddy. It's like Larry Fink to fund your payroll now. And now you guys are under a microscope. Oh, how, oh, what a shame. Yep, so that's that. Next. Sweet Baby Incorporated misinformation campaign about how much influence the company has quickly gets exposed. Sweet Baby Incorporated employees appear to have run a misinformation campaign in order to deflect just how much influence the company has over video game developers. In case you're wondering what this frequently repeated screen cap is, this here is from the latest Suicide Squad game, and this is the one. This is literally the game, the last appearance of Kevin Conroy, and literally his last stint as Batman is getting shot in the head by Harley Quinn, and this here shit was written by these chuckle fucks. So this, the death of Batman, the death of Kevin Conroy Batman this is literally the cornerstone of all this. It's like, let burn this image in your mind. This is the chuckle fucks we're dealing with here. Okay? They killed Batman. Yeah, so Mayo Kramer is this Lego butts on the twatters, and she's deflecting. Like, these people think company narrative designers that freelances on projects somehow has single-handedly caused employment collapse in games. Instead of, the insane notion of infinite growth or capitalist greed. A reminder: these are all communist fucks. It's easier to blame diversity than that somehow. Kramer added, I still think it's yeah. I still think it's way more likely that they know that's not the case and they're just fine looking stupid so long as it justifies them being loud, anti woke, whatever that means. It's like, bitch, you know exactly what it means. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, fuck it. This Kramer trick is just belly aching of like we're like not too long after the CEO is just like, yeah, we pretty much own everything now, and now her cronies are running interference. This one in particular is just running interference of like, oh, we're just a small indie company and we don't really do anything. We're just contractors. It's like we have really no say in anything, even though we write everything. It's like, yeah, yeah. More belly, more deflecting, more deflecting, more deflecting. Do, 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 do. Did you see your thing? Her present, like the CEO's presentation of GDC is here on YouTube. You can go watch it if you want. Like she says it right out of what their like the business plan is, and it's even on their website on the about section of like like we're here to you know be activists. Effectively what their about page, the company about page comes down to is that they're here to be activists, and everything's misogynist, everything's sexist, everything's racist, and you have to point it out all the time. Read Anita Sarkeesian. Like these people are Anita Sarkeesian 2.0. Uh, Yep, so that's that. Sweet Baby Incorporated runs to Kotaku. Kotaku. Now, people are joking about this as like, oh, this isn't Gamergate 2, but now Kotaku has entered. Kotaku has entered the arena now. Okay. Sweet Baby Incorporated runs to Kotaku after their cancel campaign got destroyed and their company vile agenda was exposed. Sweet Baby Incorporated is running to Kotaku in order to try to do damage control for the company after multiple employees tried to cancel Steam curator list as well as the creator of said list. Sweet Baby Incorporated employees Chris Kindred and Maya Kramer attempted to cancel Brazilian gamer Gabrutas Rambo, based after he created a Steam curated list that lists all the games that Sweet Baby Incorporated has worked on that are available on Steam. Kindred posts on X Steam curator harassment group. Sweet Baby Incorporated detective is led by this person, Gabrutas Rambo. That doesn't really roll off the tongue. I'm just going to say Rambo. Here's them trying to be slick so they don't get reported, even though discriminatory language filed off. The group itself fails the code of conduct. Next, Kindred posted, anyway, report the fuck out of this group. Kindred then conclude and report this creator since he loves his account so much. Excuse me. Kindred was joined by Maya Kramer on the account Lego Butts, who shared a lengthy thread discussing the game curator list, which was the last article. You can go back and read that if you want. As part of the thread, Kramer posted, sorry, no one thing has changed. The number of people who understand and spread misinformation, just let them be racist in public with no consequence, has increased dramatically. That has changed, probably requires some fighting from those with authority, probably. Yes, run to daddy government, because you can't fight your own fucking battles, you limp-wristed fag. Kramer posted, for example, Steam doesn't have guidelines for curators as far as I can tell. That would prevent someone from starting a curation group that focus on, say, Sweet Baby Inc. and more people not to buy the games they're associated with. This could just list any games at all. Wah. I like the reader context thing. The curator uses Sweet Baby Incorporated's website for their source. Also, it should be known that Legobus works for Sweet Baby Incorporated. Oh, God. Cancellation has failed so far and only increased the number of individuals following the curator, as the writing currently has over 191,000 followers and only has 2,000 followers at the time Ken and Kramer tried to cancel it. This is something these chuckle fucks don't understand. Here's an old lesson from the old internet. This is called the Streisand effect. For those who don't know, the United States Geological Survey did a photographic survey of the California coast and published it online. And either Barbara Streisand or her lawyer found out about it and made a big fuss about it, saying take this picture off the goddamn internet, and it brought more attention to it than it would have if they just shut the fuck up. And what's happening right now is a perfect textbook case of the Streisand effect. It's like they brought attention to this curated list, and by golly, it's going gangbusters right now. These fuckers never learn. Many such cases. Okay, yeah, so here's what to talk about. Following this failed cancellation, greater light being shed on the comments, the Sweet Baby Incorporated CEO Kim Blair and her employees have made Blair and her co-founder David David Cook quickly on the Kotaku to do damage control. The entire purpose of the article is try to shape Sweet Baby Incorporated's image as a harmless narrative design company. However, it fails at that, as Blair contradicts what's her own company's website as well previous comments she made in the past. She informs Kotaku Sweet Baby is as core a narrative development company. That means anything from script writing to narrative design to narrative direction to story reviews. She adds one of the things we do offer is cultural consultations or authenticity consultations. For us, that generally means we might be asked to look at the story if there's a character in it who's marginalized in a certain way, and the studio wants us to connect them with a consultant who can bring a little bit of authenticity, but the perspective is never that we're coming in and interjecting diversity. For the most part, it's the reverse. Is that if a company has created a character and wants to make the character more representative and more interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So here's the fun part about the About Us I mentioned earlier. The company's own website makes it very clear they want to inject diversity in the games. Their About Us section reads, founded in 2018, Sway Baby Incorporated is a narrative development and consulting studio based in fucking Montreal. To the surprise of no one, fucking Montreal. And working around the globe. Our mission is to tell better, more empathetic story. I talk English. Stories while diversifying and enriching the video game industry. We aim to make games more engaging, more fun, more meaningful, more inclusive for everyone. Furthermore, the site states, we believe you need diverse voices to solve diverse problems. Sweet Baby Incorporated provides narrative consultation at any stage of development, boasting a talented team with vetted industry experience to bring your stories to life. Their outreach section also states, new marginalized talents can change the industry if given the proper support. We want to provide this through our outreach programs. Blair also stated in 2019 she did not want video game developer to include a Frenchman, but rather wanted that character to be black. She said at the Game Developer Conference, once I worked on a project where they had a all-white cast and they expressed their desire, okay, we need to mix up a bit. How about this character's like stereotypically French? So they have a beret and they have like a striped shirt. And I was like, okay, we can, if you need to do that, we can make at least person of color. They said, oh no, that would be weird. They're already French. So I want to do better than this, she asserted. Oh, fuck me. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. And they're still, still running interference and gaslighting to Kotaku, blah, blah, blah. More about the Game Developers Conference presentation. Come back to that. Okay, I mentioned this before, but it bears repeating and more pointed out. On top of that, she also admitted one of her primary products is her company's offers to censorship in the form of sensitivity reading. She said, we need sensitivity readers, we need risk assessment. The quote I said before, and like here again, important services like a layer list in every PDF I send out, like, hey, can we do this risk assessment, sensitivity reading and stuff? Because you have to remember, sensitive, trigger warnings and sensitivity, whatever and stuff. It's unironically just a dog whistle for censorship. That's all it comes down to. So I kind of speed ran through that there, but I have a feeling we're going to be coming back to Sweet Baby Incorporated for the foreseeable future, much like the Fannie Willis case and stuff. This is going to be an ongoing thing. I just know it. I had a feeling in my bones before, like much like the Rackets court ruling thing back in the day and stuff. Like the day before, I had a feeling. I had a feeling that they was going to get retarded, so I bailed on the Weeb Wars uh, thing. But this one here is like, I feel this one has legs. This is going to go places, and it's going to be fun. It's not going to be nearly as fun as Gamergate 1, but it's going to be fun for a little while, and I'm going to be here for it. All right. I'm so glad I found this. Found this that Park Place website. Allegedly, it's supposed to be a website for like amusement park and game news and stuff. But it seems to be more culture war game news, which I'm okay with. Let's see. Marvel's Wolverine Associate Narrative Director. That's a mouthful. Mary Kenny attempts to defend Sweet Baby Incorporated by gaslighting readers. Okay, yeah. Those first articles was like the meaty part. Excuse me, of the Sweet Baby Incorporated. Now, this is where I say this is like shades of Gamergate, in that the wagons are starting to circle on these guys because all the usual suspects. I have yet to see anything out of Movie Bob yet. Give it time, but people are coming out of the woodwork to circle the wagons and run interference for Sweet Baby Incorporated. One of them being narrative director Mary Kenny attempts to defend Sweet Baby Incorporated by gaslighting readers. Mary Kenny, associate narrative director at Insomniac Games, who is working on the upcoming Marvel's Wolverine game, shared a lengthy thread attempting to defend Sweet Baby Incorporated by gaslighting readers on what the company does. Kenny began her 12-post thread. Some of you don't seem to understand how narrative consulting on games work, but I do. But don't worry, I do. Yes, this is about Sweet Baby because I work with that team and they're one of the finest in the biz. Kenny then shared a disingenuous breakdown of what Sweet Baby Incorporated does by ex-user 8-Bit Close Fist. He said, "Wokeness is killing gaming. Here we go. I have avoided conversation around Sweet Baby Incorporated for so long, but it's now getting out of hand. Basically, when the game is being made, some people will hire them to help writing a dialogue or character design with certain types of characters. Spoiler alert, it usually involves stories and characters that isn't the default." And by this, she means, white men. Men. The monster that is man. He continued now. Oh, it's a dude. Now anti-work people call it one of this and flock to it like flies on a turd. They'll tell you their reason to kill Justice League and Arkham Knight are bad games. They'll say the reason why Spider-Man is dating a deaf woman, why Joel lost in golf. They did my boy Joel dirty. I'll never forgive, never forget. And why they can't edge to their favorite characters. Oh, fuck off. And it sounds ridiculous because from the bottom of my heart it is, but they won't mention they work on games like God of War Ragnarok. That was a shit game. Alan Woke 2. Shit game. They won't tell you precisely what they worked on, what piece of dialogue they did, add to what game, and how, because they don't know. It's not public knowledge. Some of the clowns are even going so far as the reason why the layoffs, which makes no sense. Actually, it does make sense because they contributed to a shit product. A shit product that did not sell. If it doesn't sell, you don't make money. If you don't make money, you go out of business. Say it with me now, people. Go woke. Go broke. Until you croak. Blah, blah, blah. More. You can read this in its entirety if you want. I'm starting to lose brain cells the longer this goes on. Try to pull out the more fun bits. Fun in quotation marks. Okay, so here's yeah. So next she posted the next part is key because some of you seem really confused. Narrative consultants do not get final say, and they don't override the core dev team and leads. It doesn't get into the game if we don't approve it. She emphasized. So they can't even say that they consult. They do research, pitch ideas, give feedback, and maybe even write scripts. But none of that gets in the game unless the core dev team agrees with it. And I'm gonna keep saying it because it's key. Sweet Baby is not, nor is any consulting group coming into our games. She claims. I beg to differ. They're helping to smooth out plots and deepen characters, ease the burden on the core narrative team. They're additive in every way. You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. If the dev team disagrees with them or something, the dev team doesn't take the note. Really, that's simple, she wrote. So no, Sweet Baby didn't kill your game. Of course, they had nothing to do with layoffs. Duh. They give notes, pitches, advice, and research. The studio makes a final call on what went in the game. If you have beef, it's with us. Keep it with us. So, oh, wait, hold on. I'm going to back that one up. They gave notes, pitches. The studio made the final call on what went in the game. If you have beef, it's with us. Keep it with us. Okay, so I'm getting mixed messages here. So if the company had all, if the development team had the final say and everything, so it's their fault that it failed. But you're telling the audience to take the beef with you if it failed. My brain, it's oozing on my ears right now. So fucking stupid. Something, something. Have your cake and eat it too. Something, something. Yeah, I've been over this before. Blah 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 blah. Oh god. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so all that there was just background of everything up to now. Okay, next one to come out of the woodwork to suck the tranny cock of Sweet Baby Incorporated, Brass Line Entertainment lead gameplay designer Osama Dorius claims you can't be racist to whites while defending Sweet Baby Incorporated. Oh, goody, 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 goody. You can't be racist to whites. This is always a treat. Brass Line Entertainment lead gameplay designer Osama Doris decided to weigh in on Sweet Baby Incorporated claim you can't be racist to whites. In the response to a lengthy thread by Insomniac Gamers Associate Director Mary Kenny, who is currently working on Marvel's Wolverine, Doris defended the actions of Sweet Baby Incorporated and declared you can't be racist to white idiots like yourself, but you can't be racist to white non idiots either. Then he concluded you can't be racist to whites, period. Of course he has a Palestinian flag in his in his name. Of course he does. Of course. Darius comment came after YouTuber Lorena Creole criticized Kenny's defense of Sweet Baby Incorporated by sharing a clip of Kim Blair from her presentation in Game Developers Conference 2019, informing AAA video game employees to terrify their higher ups in order to diversify games. Blair's, this is repeating. Don't get me wrong, I kind of like that they constantly go over the background just in case if you just come across this one article, you at least have the background context for a lot of stuff. So it makes it breezy for us to breeze through a lot more quicker. Can't be racist white people, blah blah blah. More background, blah blah blah. The tantrum thing, blah blah blah. Okay, yep. So pretty much that's all that came down to. All right, I think it's the last one. Yes. Okay. So for today, this is gonna be the last Sweet Baby related one. Look at this fucking hand planet. Holy shit. Recon Games founder Jess. I have to do it. Recon Games founder Jess Nigger maligns gamers as racist after Sweet Baby Incorporated demonized, I Turk English, straight white male gamers. She probably likes black cock. Nice and plump. Just saying. If she is really a chick. Ugh. Recon Gamers founder Jess Negron decided to malign gamers, describing them as racist. Sweet Baby Incorporated exposed it, demonizing straight white male gamers. Blah 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 blah. Hatred campaign. It's all just a hate campaign. It's always a hate campaign. Blah blah blah. Holy shit. Here's the Jess part. Despite all this, Jess Nigger, the founder and creative director of Recon Games, decided to not only accuse gamers of being racist, but claimed that a diversity cabal would be a good thing. I'm going to repeat that. I claimed that a diversity cabal would be a good thing. I hate these people so much. Okay, no, I take that back. Communists aren't real people. I like to strike that from the record, as they are not real people. She would follow up with a quoting straw man, don't alienate your customer. Oh, darling. Don't alienate your customers. Bitch, what the fuck do you think you're doing? She then replied to her own creation, writing, baby races will not ever be my target market. Yeah, and that's why you're trying to mosey in on said market. You know exactly what you're doing. She doubled down by addressing their straw man, not the clueless racists telling me they'll all be supportive if games are separate but equal. Insert the Boondocks clip here of A White Heaven. Please and thank you. What do you make of Nigger's comments? They're full of shit like she is. Okay. Now for realsies this time. Moving away from Sweet Baby. Marvel Comics X-Men editor Tom, am I even going to pronounce that name? Doubles down on the message is the concept, calls critics of wokeness cretins. So we got crying babies, and now cretins. This guy's actually a writer. He uses the big words. Marvel Comics X-Men editor Tom Brevoort? Would that be a long O? Brevoort? Ort? Who is gearing up to relaunch the team as the summer with X-Men from Ashes. Oh, that's going to fail hard. Doubling down on claiming the message as a concept while also describing critics' wokeness as cretins. As reported by Fandom Pulse in December, Tom responded to criticism of the relaunch by accusing critics. I immediately went to cretins. Accusing critics of engaging in homophobia or bigotry. Oh boy, here we go. Tom wrote on X, well, this is X-Men graphic, sure, but sure brought people out in force. One reminder that I thought it wouldn't be necessary to express whatever opinions you like, but if you show up with homophobia or bigotry or hate speak of any sort, it'll be an instant block. It's like block and report it. Boop boop boop. It's like fucking Christ. Tom would then claim the message is the premise in response to Graven Knight writing, how about you tell a good story and stop shoving message down our throats? What a concept. Tom has doubled down on this assertion in his latest newsletter where he responded to a question about the upcoming X-Men 97 animated show. Oh fuck, I forgot that's coming out. Oh god, it's gonna suck. Featuring wokeness and whether wokeness should play a role in X-Men. X-Men is about fucking racism. Racism against mutants. That's always been the case. You don't need to you don't need to add more shit to it. It's already there. It is the fucking baseline. It is the foundation of X-Men. That's literally the message. That's always been the message of X-Men. It's always been racism bad. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's already there. God damn it. Oh my god. Oh my god. This fat bearded fuck. Fat bearded chinless fuck. Just waffling on. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, do. History of the X-Men, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I have absolutely no faith in the upcoming X-Men cartoon reboot. I have no faith in this. Fuck it. Next. Then we're gonna get to my favorite one. Okay, Madam Web actress. Okay, this here article is actually pretty funny because it actually pulls back the curtain. But Madam Web actress Dakota Johnson asserts film executives believe moviegoers are stupid. Actress Dakota Johnson, who played Cassandra Webb in Madam Web, explained why she is not surprised that the movie bombed at the box office. Madam Web only grossed $15.3 million in its opening weekend. The film has grossed a total of $40.4 million domestically. Oh, excuse me. At the international box office, it has only brought $50.6 million. In total, the film has grossed $91 million globally. The film has worst day at the box office on Monday, March 5th, with a 200. They're missing a zero on that one. I'm pretty sure it's 1,000. 245,000 haul and only bring $79 per theater. In an interview with Bustle, Johnson first admitted she was not surprised about the film's performance. She was asked, "Does it bother you when people write nasty reviews?" Johnson responded, "Unfortunately, I'm not surprised that this has gone down the way it has." When pressed to explain, Johnson elaborated, it's so hard to get movies made, and in these big movies that get made, and it's even starting to happen with the little ones, which is what's really freaking me out. Decisions are being made by committees. This is the important part. Decisions are being made by committees, and art does not do well when it's made by committees. Holy fucking shit! Chick has 2 brain cells. Wow, and brave, 2 brain cells and 2 gonads actually say it out loud. Holy fuck. She continued, films are being made by a filmmaker and a team of artists around them. You cannot make art based on numbers and algorithms. My feeling has been for a long time that audiences are extremely smart and executives have started to believe that they're not. Audiences will always be able to sniff out bullshit. Even if films start to be made with AI, humans aren't going to fucking want to see those. I agree. Johnson would then share she has no interest in making a movie like Madam Web, but it was definitely an experience for me to make that movie. I've never done anything like it before, and I probably will never do anything like it again because I don't make sense in that world. And I know that now. But sometimes in the industry, you have to sign on to something as one thing, and then you're making it becomes completely a different thing. You're like, wait, what? But it was a real learning experience, and of course, it's not nice to be part of something that's ripped to shreds. But I can't say I don't understand. She shared. Next, she added, "That's why I have my own company. In a movie like that, I have no say about anything." Good for you. What make of Johnson's comments and her revelation that film executives believe moviegoers are stupid? Well, not surprised, but good for her. She has her own little company, and she actually has 2 brain cells around together. So, I don't know. Pity she was in a shitty movie, but I don't know. I'm rooting for her. Okay, so I was baiting and switching you with Gamergate 2. But reality, this is all about Wii Wars. It was just leading up to Wii Wars. 4 years after taking a stand for social justice, telling opponents to sod off, Warner Brothers shuts down Rooster Teeth. Rest in piss, you cock fucks. Ah! Vic lived to see Funimation and Rooster Teeth die. He may have got fucked in the court, but he has the last laugh when it comes to being the last man standing. Oh boy. A new report details that Warner Bros. Has officially shut down Rooster Teeth for 4 years after the company took a stand for social justice and told opponents to get lost. Back in August 2020, Rooster Teeth loudly broadcast on Twitter, "This is your regular reminder that we happily and proudly stand for social justice. We have no tolerance for racism, sexism, or harassment of any kind." The company added, "If you're not with us, this isn't an airport. No need to announce your departure." And now they themselves have departed. Justice for Joel, justice for Ray, and justice for Vic. A little less than 4 years since that post, Rooster Teeth has shut down. Variety's Todd Sprangler wrote, "Rooster Teeth is biting dust after more than 2 decades. Yeah, his parent company, Warner Brothers Discovery, after unsuccessful attempts to sell the unprofitable fandom, gaming, and comedy entertainment division, is shutting down Rooster Teeth's operations. The company's closing was announced by I have a feeling that that Park Place is much like Zero Hedge in that I like them, but the English is not their first. General Manager Jordan Levin, via memo to company employees. The memo states, since inheriting ownership and control of Rooster Teeth from AT&T following his acquisition of Time Warner, Warner Bros. Discovery continued its investment into our company, content, and community. Now, however, with a heavy heart, I announce that Rooster Teeth is shutting down due to challenges facing digital media resulting from fundamental shifts in consumer behavior. Read, no one's buying your shit anymore. And monetization across platforms. Get fucked for having your own thing as opposed to going on YouTube. Advertising, and patronage. He did note that the company's podcast, Roost Podcast Network, is not affected by shuttering of the company. Please note that Roost team is not currently impacted by his action. Roost Podcast Network will continue operating, fulfilling its obligations while Warner Bros. Discovery evaluates outside interest in acquiring this growing asset. I have a feeling they're not going to find anyone, much like the other time. Later in the memo, 11 appeared to provide more details why Rooster Teeth was shutting down. Every story reaches the final pages. Rooster Teeth's closure isn't merely an end, it reflects broader business dynamics, monetization shift, platform algorithms, advertising challenges, ebbs and flow of patronage. All these converging factors have led many closure in the industry. While we learn about the updates on the program day by day, we will share our plans for shows, franchises, partnerships, and merch soon, and share those updates with teams internally and with the community at roosterteeth.com. According to Variety's report, the company had operated at a loss for the past decade. No fucking shit. This bit of information appeared to be another confirmation of pop culture critic Razorfist theory that companies go woke after they go broke, and then they go croak. Razorfist explains theory. I was talking about the Razorfist quote, age-old quote thing, and the history of it. Talking about BlackRock, Larry Fink, and how he wants to control the world. Thankfully, he's failed. Yep, so Rooster Teeth is finally gone. Feels good. Feels good. We got Gamergate 2 and the conclusion of the Weeb Wars. Well, at least one facet of it, anyway. Well, actually, no. Yeah, pretty much Funimation and Rooster Teeth were pretty much the main shit show for the Weeb Wars. So, yeah. Vic's the last man standing. Supreme victory. Other in the court. Alrighty. Back to our regularly scheduled geopolitics. Wall Street scrambles to abandon DEI as legal assaults mount. The long and short of this is that I've been saying this for forever at this point, is that the DEI, SEG, what like all the acronyms, bridge, everything. Here's the thing. If you're a publicly traded company, you are legally, by law, required to work in the best interest of the shareholders. That is to say, you make money. You're legally required to do the best you can to make money. All these here initiatives do not make money. They cost money. They cost a lot of money. Look at the Budweiser, and we're gonna cover Doritos soon enough. Because if you cost money and not make money, you are breaking the law because you're not working for the best interest of your shareholders. And of course, every financial lawyer right now has a raging hard on because the tide has finally turned, and I'm sure a shit ton of them were just waiting for this to happen because it was going to happen eventually. And I'm sure they're all crawling out of the woodwork right now, just salivating and just like a merchant, rubbing their hands together. It's like, yes, finally, the time has come to get our blood. And that's pretty much what it comes down to. It's yeah, I like this line. The recent Supreme Court decision against affirmative action in colleges has intensified legal challenges to corporate diversity efforts, with banks wary of becoming lawsuit targets over claims of reverse discrimination. Report says, yes, because all this, pretty much all these diversity hires were in and of themselves breaking the law by being racist and stuff, which means a lot of companies, I mean a fucking lot of companies, are now liable for racial discrimination lawsuits, and we've covered a shit ton of lawsuits, like over the months and years at this point, and it's just, this is going to get wild. I like this line. Uh, it's like former chief diversity officer, Citigroup concluded, we're at an interesting inflection point. Yes, it's called. It's like it's called you fuckers are in free fall. It's like you reap what you sow, or as the kids like to say, go woke, go broke. uh, oh, Argentina, what do you have on plate today? Argentina's President Javier Milei suspends state-run leftist news agency for propaganda. Good. Hey, come to Canada and get rid of the CBC, pretty please. Can we elect him? Let's just give him Canadian citizenship and make him the Canadian Prime Minister, please. Yeah, so pretty much that's all it comes down to is that like he's cut back a lot of expenditures on a lot of departments and stuff. Like pretty much if a department can get cut, it has. But he specifically, as part of one of his campaign promises, was to specifically go after the state news agency, and looks like he's done so. And two thumbs up, good for him. Okay, this is a long, meaty one. I'm going to try to do justice in summarizing. How the government used Track F to fund censorship tools. The National Science Foundation spent $39 million on Track F, a program related to censoring, suppressing American speech, says new report. So, the long story short is that taxpayer money was used by the National Science Foundation to make a censorship program. And what now that the report has come out that they've done this thing, they're trying to run interference of saying like, oh, it's not censorship, it's for the greater good, and all the usual talking points of authoritarian, totalitarian fucks and stuff. And they're trying to gaslight people. Like the National Science Foundation does not engage in censorship and has no role in content policies or regulations. Per statute guidance from Congress, we have made investments in research to help understand communications technologies that allow for things like deepfakes and how people interact with them. The spokesman said, we know our adversaries are already using these technologies against us multiple ways. This is true. We know the scammers are using these techniques on suspecting victims. It is nation's national and economic security interest to understand how these tools are being used and how the people are responding, so options that may improve safety are all. The spokesman also denied that National Science Foundation ever sought to conceal its investments from the so-called Track Act program, and that the foundation does not follow policy regarding media. It was outlined by the documents discovered by the committee. again, they got caught. They're sorry. They're sorry that they got caught, and they're trying to gaslight, saying like, "Oh no, we're totally not. We're totally developing all these censorship programs, and it's totally going to be used against the enemies of the state, foreign nationals, totally foreign nationals. It's not going to be used on the citizens of the nation. No, totally not. It's like bullshit." This is fucking disgusting. Let's see. Effective interventions to educate Americans. The MIT team developed the SearchLit tool. The government funding was a Ford highlighted NSF grant recipient. Officials with NSF asked MIT team to develop effective interventions to educate Americans, specifically those that the MIT research allege may be more vulnerable to misinformation campaigns and how to discern fact from fiction online. Yeah, we're totally not going to control the flow of information and give you tell you what's good for you. We're totally not going to do that. Fucking evil shits. Seriously, they're just evil, like evil anti-American commies. As far as the eye can see. Holy shit. So yeah, a bit of a lengthy read, but it kind of just spells out the report and calls them out and all this shit and stuff. But it's shit we've seen before. I find myself saying this often. It's shit we've seen before, and it's nothing new. But again, it needs to be pointed out in that they're still doing this shit. They're still getting caught. And I am still of the opinion that the competency of, if you're going to be evil, be competent. But they're just incompetent. So, yeah. But thankfully, because of that, they're getting caught. So there's that. Brain. Okay. So, there are many reasons why I've said repeatedly in the past, there are many reasons why the climate death cult nonsense will never work, has never worked, and it's only about, like you are the carbon they want to get rid of. It's all about power. It's all about money and power and control. That's all ever it was. Now, it was this shit's always doomed to failure because, again, much like the ESG, all that crap and stuff, it's communism 101. Communism works up until you run out of people's money. And same thing with the climate death cult. And beyond that, it was never going to work because, as the title says, poll, nearly half of young people won't spend $10 monthly on climate change. Radical climate change warriors at the White House have made it their mission to destroy fossil fuel industry, and with that goes the economy, but also brainwashes many youth into believing there's imminent climate emergency. However, a new poll shows young people are unwilling to even make the slightest financial sacrifice, not even the cost of one avocado and toast sandwich per month for the green cause, and perhaps underscores why the youth are merely serial virtual signalers. Color me fucking surprised. Get to the meat of it. Less than half, 45% of the youngest crop of voters aged 18 to 34 would be willing to spend $10 or less per month to combat climate change, according to the recent survey by CRC Research for the 85 fund obtained exclusively by DailyMail.com. And 1 out of 5, 20%, in the same age bracket responded they would not pay anything at all, according to poll results. What a shock. Look at that fucking drop off. Oh, God. Who the fuck would pay like $1,000 a month for look at this shit. Who would pay $1,000 a month, for the cause? Come on. Rich fucks. It's like, I do like this closing here segment. CRC also showed how young people are vocal about climate change but fail to spend their own money fixing it. It's much like a feminist whining about women's rights. Okay, go to the Middle East. Oh, you're not going to? Oh, well, there you go. Same thing. Same energy. I get the same energy from this. This could be due to an era of failed Bidenomics as the inflation monster crushes households. Despite claims they're leading the charge on climate change, it turns out young people are actually just sheep in wolves' clothing. They demand climate action, but demand someone else pay for it, said Steve Miller, a lawyer who served in the Trump administration. Miller continued, they disguise their rank hypocrisy by posturing as climate activists, and the refusal to put their money where their mouth is just underscores how unserious they are as citizens and voters. And I would argue as fucking brainlets. Fuck. What was this one? Now the robots are coming for your opinions. We've long been warned about robots taking our jobs, and now they're coming for our opinions as well. Oh, this one. Okay. So long and short of this one is that okay. I myself am a subscriber to a mild version of the dead internet theory. Now, that's not to say that there's no people on the internet, but most platforms and services are mostly bots. I mean, for fuck's sakes, I get an average of like 3 followers a day that are bots on Twitter. I get 3 bots a day on Twitter. Okay, and that's just me, Mr. Nobody. It's like when Elon Musk bought X, bought Twitter and turned it to X and stuff. His big point of contention was how much of this is bots, and he never did get a straight answer. But I'm sure him looking at the books right now, I'm sure he has a better idea. And even me, as a baseline user, I can see there is fucking a shit ton of bots. Now that's not just on X; that's on everywhere on the internet. There are bots everywhere. But here's the thing: the bots are actually getting smarter. Everything we put in place to test to weed out bots, like for example, captchas and stuff, that's starting to fail. Like they're starting to actually be able to break the captchas and stuff, which actually wrecks havoc on some services. And they actually do make a point on this here, specifically uh, polls, so like census data and stuff like that. For example, since most people don't have landlines anymore and stuff, telemarketers and pollsters can't actually call you to do anything right now, so they have to go through the internet for polls like Nielsen ratings and stuff like that. They have to do everything online and stuff, but to actually get a human reaction online nowadays is getting harder and harder, for poll purposes and stuff, and that's what this is kind of hemming on and stuff. So if what's a good actually I have a really good way of putting this. I'm a big proponent of the concept of garbage in, garbage out. If you have garbage information going in, you're going to get garbage information. You're going to get garbage information that is your conclusion. I make this point when it comes to the climate stuff, uh, but this also comes in terms of I don't trust polls, and it's because of shit like this, like the increasing prevalence of bots and the ease of bots to game the system. Uh, when it comes to poll numbers and stuff. That's why I don't trust polls, because not only can the pollsters massage the numbers and get the information they want and stuff, even the legitimate information they get, I have to question whether it's legitimate or not because of bots. And this is just going to get worse as the longer time goes on. So I know like the like the AI bots and the deep fakes and stuff that there's getting news, but this year's actually a lot more important than people realize, and no one's talking about it and stuff. And that and it's important because uh government officials like politicians will use these polls to legislate law. So this is what I mean when it's important and it's scary, because it's garbage in, garbage out. You have garbage in terms of poll data, and you get garbage out that is garbage laws being passed from this garbage poll data. You see where the problem lies? And this shit's already happening. and it's going to only ramp up from here on end. And that there is fucking legitimately scary. And I know, we kind of poke fun of like, oh, Terminator, Skynet, and all that stuff. It doesn't even have to get to general purpose intelligence and stuff. It just has to fuck. It just has to fuck over our system enough to, like, for us to use bad information to make bad decisions. That's all it comes down to. Using bad information to make bad decisions. I mean, shit, just look at Clown World and just imagine that in crack, because that's what this is. So that's all it comes down to it, and I think it's really important. Speak. Speaking of shit. Far left eco terrorists attack German power grid, causing outage at Tesla's Gigafactory. Far left militant environmental group known as Vulcan Group. Vulcan Group. I can't German. Volcano Group has claimed responsibility for an attack on Germany's electricity infrastructure on Tuesday, paralyzing vehicle production at Tesla's European Gigafactory near Berlin. Police at the state of Brandenburg said that someone set fire to a nearby high-voltage tower, causing the blaze to cut off electricity to the Gigafactory and more than 60,000 people in the surrounding area. A Tesla spokesperson confirmed to Reuters that the attack on the grid caused a power outage at the factory, resulting in a production halt. The spokesperson added the site was evacuated, and the shit stains came out and said, "We sabotaged Tesla today because Tesla in grew. That's a long U. Grew now eats up Earth resources, people, labor, and spits out 6,000 SUVs, killing machines, and monster trucks per week." I wouldn't call the Cybertruck a monster truck. Let's be real. Let's be fucking real here. Okay. Our gift of March 8th is to shut down Tesla because the complete destruction of the Gigafactory, and with it the sawing off of techno-fascists like Elon Musk, step on the path of the liberation from patriarchy. I can't take this seriously. I can't. Liberation from patriarchy, the eco-terrorist wrote in a 2,500-word attack on Tesla. On ex-CEO Elon Musk responded to the incident saying, "These are either dumbest eco-terrorists on Earth, or they're puppets of those who don't have good environmental goals. Stopping production of electric vehicles rather than fossil fuel vehicles is extreme dumb." I agree. Yeah, so, yeah. I do like the point that is pointed out here. Why are eco-terrorists attacking Tesla when it's claimed by these groups that the electric vehicles will save the planet from the imminent climate doom? Or is it the eco-terrorists are being weaponized by dark money to go after Musk and his free speech platform X that goes against the industrial complex in the West? I say it's a little column A, a little column B, because at the end of the day, these eco-terrorists are useful idiots. They're not the ones in charge. But again, it kind of comes down to, like, Black Lives Matter was never about race; it was about communism. And these environmentalists, they're not about the environment; they're about wrecking shit. They're just anarchists. That's all it comes down to. Oops, I already opened that one. Okay, this one. I was looking forward to this one. Oh boy! 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 Doritos fires brand ambassador who tweeted about doing thuggish things to a minor. This is kind of backwards since we're getting the update first. So, didn't last long. Doritos Spain terminated their relationship with transgender influencer Ivan Gonzalez Renedo, who goes by his stage name Samantha Hudson, after the company came under intense backlash for posting a video on Instagram featuring Hudson. The spokesperson for Doritos Spain confirmed Rolling Stone magazine. Of course, they reported a fucking Rolling Stone. Of course, they fucking did. Magazine that the short promo called Crunch Talks was posted on Sunday and removed on Monday. It emphasized the video was not part of the larger brand ambassadorship campaign. The spokesperson also revealed that Hudson had been terminated by the company due to making controversial comments In the past, we ended a relationship and stopped all related campaigns activity due to comments, the spokesperson said. We strongly condemn words or actions that promote violence or sexism of any kind. This is against a minor, so it's kind of. It does make you wonder what level of due diligence these multi-billion-dollar brand Muppets are actually employing. None. Read none. Did this thing just check the right boxes on the DEI checklist, and any pedophilia or such can be just overlooked? As Steve Watson detailed earlier, the news, oily GMO tortilla. I can't talk. Tortilla chip brand Doritos. It's tortilla. Fuck me. Facing widespread backlash against some genius within the Spanish arm of the company decided to hire a non-binary transgender person who appears to have previously endorsed pedophilia to sell snacks. It's also tiring because I know these chuckle fucks at certain levels are getting marching orders. I know, I get that. But you think someone higher up in the chain say like, huh, that Budweiser thing was bad. Maybe we shouldn't do that. So this is the earlier part of the article. So here's like the main point. Doritos just picked Samantha Hudson, the brand ambassador in Spain. Samantha Hudson, being admitted being pedophile, identifies as non-binary trans girl, openly mock victims of child rape, an advocate for annihilating, completely destroying, abolishing the traditional family. And says he wants to stick things up a prepubescent girl's butt. So there's that. The artist reportedly claimed it was a joke, but not that many convinced child rape is funny. Hey Doritos, do y'all have pedophiles brand ambassadors? Because reasons. Oh, Chung. You just crawl back into your little hole. So yeah, long story short, Doritos had on payroll a pedophile, and the first spokesperson. So we got Budweiser, Doritos. What's next? That's the next one to have a pedophile. Be a brand spokesperson. Okay, this one's a little wild. Veteran Affairs denies removal of iconic World War II kissing photo after rogue woke memo circulates. The top official of the Department of Veteran Affairs has denied rumors that the iconic World War II photo of a U.S. Navy sailor kissing a woman in Times Square will be removed. Let me be clear, this image is not banned from VA facilities, and we will keep it in VA facilities, wrote the VA Secretary Dennis Madonna on post to X. For those of you who are illiterate when it comes to history, this is the photograph in question. Okay. Now, full context is like these here aren't sweethearts. This guy was just going down the parade thing and just swooped up a girl and just kissed her. So the perpetually perturbed really hate this here because it's quote unquote rape. I shit you not. Granted, it's an unconsensual kiss, but you know, context. Oh fuck. Okay, so the long and short of it is that there was a memo made around saying we're going to get rid of this, but it looked like if it was from a lower on the totem pole employee, and once the higher ups saw this, they were like, "No, the fuck are you on about?" uh, Yeah, a memo was sent out that should not have been and has been resigned. The VA official told. In short, a rogue woke sub-agency employee decreed that the photo would be removed, ran up the flagpole, and was just shut down by leadership. Right. I'll give the veteran affairs shit because they are shit. But this is kind of one of the times where it's like, okay, you did good for once. Now start taking care of the veterans. Goddammit. Okay, I've been saying this for a while and stuff, and this is kind of like old hat. But net zero is a national security threat and must be abandoned, former Secretary Minister warns. Decarbonizing the steel and electricity industry in pursuit of net zero represents a real and present danger to, excuse me, national security and must be abandoned, the former Secretary Minister has warned. Writing in the foreword to a new paper from campaign group Net Zero Watch. Net Zero Wrath. Actually, that'd be a pretty cool name. Net Zero Watch. Sir Gerald Howarth, Minister for International Security Strategy under David Cameron, said, "Our adversaries are watching us like hawks, so let us leave them in no doubt. We are rearming and rebuilding. Net Zero firmly on hold." Professor Gwythian Prins, a defense expert and one of the paper's authors, agrees with the recent deterioration of the world security situation. Luxury beliefs such as net zero must be jettisoned as a matter of urgency. It is a moment when the music stops. Port Talbot closure harshly exposes the cost of luxury green beliefs. We cannot be dependent on imports for the full range of necessary steel to rebuild our arsenals. The Navy first and foremost, and most ridiculously, we cannot depend on them for our global antagonists. I mentioned this in the past in that uh, China controls the rare earth element market share not because they have a lot of rare earth, is that they can process it because they don't give a fuck about the environment. Processing some of this shit is just really nasty and stuff, and they don't give a fuck about the environment, so they can just rape and pillage, and with no oversight when it comes to the environment and processing costs, and just flood the market because all the other Western nations have to tiptoe around like environment regulations and stuff like that, justifiably so. I'm not industry and the environment needs to be balanced and stuff, but to depend on a adversary for your very super omega critical resources is fucking retarded. And it's taking reports like this saying like, look, stop being retarded. We cannot depend on our enemies for critical resources. We shouldn't have to spell this out, but here we are. Clown World 2024. So yeah, so also so like this is in terms of you know resources, but also like the whole carbon thing also is just like, yeah, how's that working out for you, buddy? So yeah, it's shit we covered before, but I just like the fact that the people are like I've been saying, the pushback has started not just in terms of clown world, but also in terms of more practical, pragmatic, real shit. In terms of national defense, the pushback has started. It's like, okay, it's like we're in World War III right now, whether people like to admit it or not. So shit's getting real. The grown-ups have to start taking shit seriously, or else they're going to fucking die. That's all it comes out to it. Net zero COVID. Okay, we are overdue for a COVID-19 vaccine article. COVID-19 vaccines can affect menstrual cycle. Research is fine. Research confirmed that COVID-19 vaccines are linked to changes in the menstrual cycle, according to a study published in March. Published in the I can never say this word. Obstetrics and Gynecology Journal on March 1st, Oregon Health and Science University researchers found that women who receive COVID-19 shot in the first half of their menstrual cycle are more likely to receive cycle length changes than those who receive the vaccine in the second half. Those researchers who used data from 2000 not 2000, 20,000 users of birth control app were approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to determine what effects the vaccine had on the cycle. Most women whose data were analyzed were under the age of 35, while 28% were from North America, 33% from Europe, and 32% were from the United Kingdom, they said. Some were vaccinated and some were not. Those who were vaccinated, 63% received the mRNA vaccine, the paper said. And here's the important bit. Individuals vaccinated in the follicular phase experience an average 1 day longer adjusted cycle length with a first or second dose of COVID 19 vaccine compared to the pre vaccination average, the authors of the paper said, referring to the women who got a dose of the vaccine during the first half of their cycle. Those who got the vaccine in the second half, or those who were not vaccinated, experienced no changes, they found. The authors added that there is now a body of evidence demonstrating that the vaccine is associated with a temporary menstrual cycle disturbance at the population level, adding that the underlying mechanism for the vaccine related cycle length disturbance is still under investigation. There's a lot of things under investigation. But just, throw another log in the fire of just another thing of like, hey, this here fucks up your biology, as gene therapy tends to do. Which is why gene therapy normally should be a sniper rifle and not a shotgun. Funny how that works. Yada, 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 yada. No, fuck off, Pfizer. No one cares. So there's that. Okay, jumping back to UK for a minute. Almost half of UK university scientists, I'll put that in quotation marks, refuse to say sex is binary. A survey highlighted by Telegraph has found only 58% of scientists at British universities believe the sex is binary. The poll also found that most of the 200 scientists, well, that's not really that big of, that's not that big of a sample size. Survey believe the gender is fluid. 29% of respondents to the survey agreed that the statement the sex is not binary, while 13% of respondents did not share a view in the question or preferred not to give an opinion. That means 42% of the scientists would not classify sex as binary. The poll conducted by Census Wide, a market research consultancy, also found that 64% of scientists said gender is fluid, with only 22% saying believe gender is binary, and a 14% not providing an answer. And that 14% is the smart bunch, saying, fuck off, this is a stupid poll. So, yeah, that's that. Again, British, quotation marks, scientists, question mark. Telegraph, question mark. Steve Watson, question mark. Okay. Oh, fuck this one. Oh, God. My brain's not ready for this. I need a drink. Oh, God. Okay. Ben Shapiro, rap is racist and sexist, hip hop professor says. A popular rap song from Ben Shapiro, these are words coming out of my mouth, express white male grievance and racist and sexist views according to a hip hop professor. I don't know what I take more umbrage with, Ben Shapiro rap, or the fact that there is such a thing as a hip hop professor. I am not prepared for this. My body is not ready for this. Oh, God. Reggie, give me strength. Lend me your power. Associate Professor Hip Hop. Oh, God, I can't. Associate Professor of Hip Hop A.D. Carson explained his expertise in the song Facts by Shapiro and Canadian rapper Tom MacDonald. Given today's bitter partisan divide and extremist culture wars, it comes no surprise that Shapiro's track quickly found voted a following, Carson wrote recently in The Conversation. But his racist anti-rap lyrics ultimately repeat the same tired charges right-wing politicians have used against hip-hop since the birth over 50 years ago. R.I.P. Biggie. Oh. University of Virginia scholar whose doctoral thesis was a rap album compared to blatant racism, the song, to other music like Jason Aldean's song, anti-riot song Try That in Small Town. The country song contained coded racial language according to several professors. Oh, fuck off. By performing over a popular sounding trap style of beat, Shapiro and McDonald might lead listeners to overlook their heavy reliance on black vernacular speech. Oh, fuck off. Which toes the line between minstrelsy and abject cultural appropriation. Oh, fuck off. Because it's delivered in the form of a conventional rap song, the listener might even be convinced that racism and sexism artists are performing our, ex- uh, our expectations, and Shapiro and McDonald are just doing what all rappers do. So you're saying rappers don't normally say nigger and shit? Niggers and hoes and cash money? Oh, fuck off. Amber, fuck off. I don't care about Toronto. Okay, so little side tangent. Why the fuck do I get Amber alerts from Toronto? Toronto is like a day's drive away. Answer me this. Anyhow, I would love to believe racist, sexist, white male grievance rap isn't where the zeitgeist is in America. Carson wrote, but Ben Shapiro and his conservative followers are betting that it is, at least for a brief moment. The song top Billboard list is number one single. Why? The Paris rap plays off Shapiro's famous line, "The facts don't care about your feelings," and focus on how the song will be promoting sexual immorality, guns, or drugs. It has 16 million views as writing. God. My brain's shutting down just from the entirety of this. Okay. Continuing on with Clown World. Waste of the day. National Institute of Health awards $200,000 grant for transgender voice training. The National Institute of Health is paying $214,000 for three researchers to create a transgender voice training app. Zentrea, get in on this. uh, this is just the app for Zentrea. Okay. Okay. I can get through this. Key facts. The study aims to address voice dysmorphia, which researchers say causes lower quality of life when a person's voice doesn't match their gender identity. I can't. I'm tapping out. This is exactly what you think it is. It's a grant. Is a grant to make an app to help trainees, voice train. That's all it is. It's fucking stupid, and I agree. It's a waste of money. Okay, I gotta move on for the sake of my mental health. Okay, this one's actually interesting. Ex Virginia Tech soccer player scores $100,000 from coach after refusing Black Lives Matter kneeling ritual. In case you missed it, with recent developments against DEI and a palpable shift in public sentiment, it's worth noting that the story from last year, which received little media attention, namely a former Virginia Tech soccer player whose coach benched her for refusing to kneel during pregame social justice demonstration, settled for $100,000 under terms of settlements with said coach. So long story short, this chick refused to kneel for Black Lives Matter. She got benched and eventually ended up leaving the team, and later came back and sued them, and effectively they settled out of court on this one here to the tune of $100,000, and neither side admitted fault. So this is pretty much just like, okay, I'm gonna sue you. It's like we're gonna settle out, and that's that. So good for her. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot more of this as time goes on, because as I've said, and as this here says, to the tide is turning, and this is good. This is a white pill story. This is good. Justice was served. Okay, this is a topic near and dear to my heart. Who will prevail in World War III? Exploring the 7 key battlefields. This is a long story short. This is a point form essay of the fields of battle, the fields of battle you'll be seeing, and the points of contention of said battles. Uh, again, we are in World War III, whether you like it or not, and people honestly have to get the idea out of their heads that the World War III automatically means nukes. No, it doesn't. World War III, it is a world war Free. Nukes are a last resort. If they're used, then that's it. Like World War III is going to be a it's not going to be like World War II where you have clear battle lines. Just look at the entirety of the Ukraine war and what's going on with Palestine and Jerusalem right now. Okay, everything everything during and after the Cold War, what has been proxy wars and asymmetrical warfare. That's just the way it's been, and that's the way it's going to be. But it's just a matter of the scale of said proxy wars and asymmetrical warfare. So it's going over the different points. So like financial warfare, and let's see, so it's going to be like the banking warfare. So, for example, when the Ukraine war popped off and stuff, Russian banks were kicked out. Swift companies left Russia, like stuff like that. Economic warfare, that there's more economy, but in terms of resources. So Russia and China and them are making the BRICS, making the BRICS economic bloc. And I've talked about the rare earth elements before. Cyber warfare, this has been part of our daily lives for a long time now and stuff, and it's actually ramping up right now, particularly out of China. China's really bad for cyber warfare, and you can probably lay a lot of recent network outages to China gay ops in terms of cyber warfare, and that there's gonna get a lot worse. Information warfare, all the misinformation, quote unquote misinformation, but the information warfare, you can consider the culture war a subset of this, but this is in terms of the deep fakes and public opinion and shit like that. Deniable sabotage, all the underwater internet cables getting cut, the underwater gas pipelines being blown up. That's what that stuff is. Biological warfare, 2020. Proxy warfare, that doesn't need any explanation, but it goes over some examples. So you got the Ukraine, the Middle East, Taiwan. Yeah. So shit like that. This is actually is a really good encompassing read, and I'd recommend for anyone who wants to get caught up on the current state of affairs and where things are going. This here is actually a really good read. Oh, this one. Snow roaches. That's a new one for me. Excuse me. U.S. state-sponsored news executive on paid leave after over anti-white social media posts. The United States Agency for Global Media state-sponsored news operation has placed a top executive on leave after he referred to white people as snow roaches on social media. Look at this fat Albert looking motherfucker. Look at that fat head. Holy shit. James J.R. Rees, who serves as U.S. AGM Chief Information Officer and Director of IT Operations, was busted after conservative X account and wokeness dropped receipts showing Reeves' racism. The U.S. AGM, which includes Voice of America among 6 state-owned entities, excuse me, reflux is kicking in, quickly addressed the post, saying it does not condone intolerance in any form when investigate the claims and place Reeves was English, motherfucker. Do you speak it? I don't, but I can tell when when writing's not up to scratch. Place Reeves was on paid administrative leave. That's a sentence. Am I following on wokeness? I want to say yes. That's going to double check. Am I following you? Yes. Good, good. Good, good. According to a report, Reeve recently wrote "Cry About Snow Roaches" in support of a meme which stated "Keep the immigrants, deport the racists." The account also responded to several other messages by calling a user Snow Roach and suggesting they are uneducated or racist. Last time I checked, the Snow Roach they were mad about immigrants. Reeves allegedly wrote on February 12th. Well, another message posted the same day read like Snow Roaches resort to racist tropes when you can't construct a logical argument. Clearly uneducated, stay triggered. Stat triggered. I read that correctly, even though it was thick. The account believed belonged to Reeves. Devastating Sigma was locked following Wokeness post went viral. According to Wokeness, Reeves posted pictures of himself on the account multiple times throughout the years and used the account to demonize white people, label them snow roaches, and celebrate their demographic decline. Fuck. Okay. Okay, this is really important, so pay attention. New bill would strip COVID-19 vaccine manufacturers of liability protection. This is big and this is important. Legislation introduced March 5th would strip COVID-19 vaccine manufacturers of liability protections, enabling Americans injured by the shots to sue the companies. Currently, most nations on the face of the planet have laws in the books saying that you can't sue the manufacturers if you got a bad batch or had a bad reaction. But if this here passes and you can, that would be a game fucking changer. The bill proposed by Representative Chip Roy, Republican Texas. Oh, fuck off. I don't care. Fuck off. Yeah, this is part of the line. Millions of Americans were forced to take COVID-19 shot out of fear of losing their livelihoods and under false pretenses. Many have faced injury from the vaccine, but few have been afforded little recourse, Mr. Roy said in a statement. He said he was introducing a new bill to empower Americans to remove crony federal liability protections for COVID-19 vaccine manufacturers and empower injured Americans, adding American people deserve justice for the infringement on their personal medical freedom, and those medically harmed but deserve restitution. I agree. As per the federal vaccine system, people who have suspected or confirmed injuries from COVID-19 vaccines can apply for compensation from the government under a program called Countermeasures Injury Compensation Program. But as January, just 11 people have been compensated, with the highest payout being $8,961. And I've covered this before in that the wait time, the backlog is like pushing a decade for some of this here shit and stuff. So it's kind of like it's kind of like a class action lawsuit. It's like, yeah, you can get in on it, but good luck getting results in a timely manner and a worthwhile amount. So I don't know. As shit as the system is, this here is a major thing, and I really hope it does pass, because hopefully it does have precedence. Like I said, the tide is turning, and we need shit like this here, uh, to help it along. New York's Times faces claims of hypocrisy over coverage of deployment of troops. Oh, yes, I was looking forward to this one. Okay, a little history lesson. So, Senator Tom Cotton, Republican Arkansas, has a right to be tag confused. The senator noted, as a matter of fact, coverage by the New York Times, the Democratic New York Governor Kathy O'Toole's Kathy sent troops to New York City to crack down on crime. Khan posted, note the simply read, sending troops to help restore law and order. His point was that roughly 4 years ago, the newspaper publicly denounced him after running his opinion piece calling for the use of the National Guard to quell violent riots in Washington. So pretty much, you know, rules for me, not rules for thee, not for me. Do as I say, not as I do. The same old shit we've seen a million times and stuff. But of course, Tom Cotton's one of those fellows who are like never forgive, never forget, and I respect that. And so he's just calling out the hypocrisy, and of course the New York Times are just like, uh gaslighting, saying like it's okay when we do it because we have a D beside our name, don't you know? And that's all it comes down to it. So I don't know. This is kind of just a blast from the past for me because I remember at the time when this happened and there was a big brouhaha over and stuff, and now it's kind of come full circle. It's like, well, how turntables. Okay, speaking of rights, secretive China linked socialist groups have fingerprints all over Black Lives Matter adjacent riots. While most people know Black Lives Matter was largely behind the 2020 riots that followed the death of George Floyd, author Peter Schweizer has uncovered an angle we did not see coming. I wouldn't say all, because, it's kind of one of those things. Excuse me. If the enemies of America, they they will help and finance any movement that will destabilize America. This like communism back in the day, like like the Soviet Union back in the day, financially supported, uh, literally like the feminist movement and the hippies and shit like that. Like they bankroll a shit ton of that there, and it's not surprising that China is taking going copying paste as they are wont to do, and using the same strategy in terms of the race riots. So I'm not terribly surprised. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so yeah, so one of the group's secretive pro-Beijing Freedom Road Socialism organization gave rise to an offshoot called Liberation Road, which alleged member Montague Simmons found the organization a black struggle. OBS. Simmons would later admit during presentation he bought some 10,000 out-of-state activists to participate in the protest. According to left-wing author Max Elbaum, who wrote The Definitive History of the Radical Movement, FRSO has an extensive history taking their cues from Beijing. Schweizer writes that at the beginning with Ferguson, FRSO activists played an important role in the next half of the decade in pushing protests towards violence. When Black Lives Matter protests broke out in May 2020 following the death of George Floyd, RFSO members' fingerprints were all over them. Weeks after the BLM protests broke out in Minneapolis, FRSO political secretary Steph Yorick's wife, Jess Sundin, bragged about organizing night rallies and emptying the police station, Target, and other major stores, calling it absolutely tied to, connected to, and part of the movement. I can't tell you joy brought all of us to see the third precinct destroyed, she said, as reported by Breitbart News. In August 2020, FRSO member Michael Sampson was involved in rioting in Kenosha, Wisconsin, where the organization has a chapter. Sampson also organized protests in Jacksonville, Florida. In 2022, RFSO openly pledges support to the Chinese Communist Party, writing in a letter, and I quote, actually, no, wait, we need the full effect for this one. Oh, God. I know I have this. Is that under Soviet? I've done this before, and I'll do it again. We're doing this. Doing this right. I need to prune down my fucking soundboard. There's so much shit in here. Here we go. Play it, Emu. Okay. Fucking gonna relaunch the soundboard. Alright. National. Play. that down some more. Okay. Dear comrades, Freedom Road Socialist Organization congratulates the leadership of the Communist Party of China, with the Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, for the great successes achieved in the 20th National Congress. Socialist China is an example to oppressed people everywhere who yearn for a better future. Again, congratulations on the successful 20th Congress. The CPC is truly a great political party that has proven its ability to do great things. Long live the Communist Party of China! Long live the unity between the people of China and the people of the US, with fraternal greetings. Okay, there's enough of that. According to Becker, who has defended the CP for the Tiananmen Square massacre that wasn't while slamming police brutality in America, it's the responsibility of all revolutionaries and progressive people to resist the imperialist offensive and offer militant political defense to the Chinese government. Oh, fuck off, you yellow commie red bastard. Grapefruit? What'd be yellow? What'd be yellow and red? You have to think on that one. Okay. Oh, fuck off. Okay. So that's that. Do, 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 do. Where was I? Ah, yes. Open menu. Leaked files expose influential transgender healthcare group pushed by pseudo-scientific sex change experiments on kids and vulnerable adults. Newly leaked files from a leading transgender healthcare organization show that doctors are aware that children and adolescents do not always comprehend and thus cannot consent to hormonal and surgical transitions they champion. They also admit privately the experimental procedures often have devastating and permanent side effects, including cancer and sterility. Who could have foreseen this coming? Leave the kids alone, you pedophile fucks. God damn it. The files from the World Professional Association of Transgender Health, ugh, feel dare saying that, were obtained by journalist Michael Stellenberger, who posted the entire cache online. They include conversations with, how would I even say that? WPath, internal messaging board, and video from Identity Evolution Workshop. The internal communication suggests that the organization is controlled by gender ideologues who routinely conduct experimental hormonal and surgical procedures on minors and vulnerable adults. Despite legitimate medical and ethical concerns, these shocking findings come after members of WPath. I keep wanting to say Warpath. Actually, would be appropriate. Warpath were credibly accused in the media of rubbing shoulders with pedophiles and fetishists. Yes, many such cases. After a months-long investigation in 2022, news and opinion website Redux found that Warpath was involved with a fetish forum and hosts and produces fictional child pornography and extreme sadomasochistic content, including graphic child sexual torture fantasies. Wow. Mark off your bingo card. Training organizations involve pedophiles. Who could have foreseen this coming? So yeah, it's just going over how the doctors are just like completely and utterly aware of like, yeah, these kids can't consent to shit, and it's just like, and some of them are coming out with it, so like hence the leak, hence the document leak, and it's just like, unfortunately, it's too little, too late for some of these kids, but again, the tide's turning. Pity the people. A pity that there is a body count that has led to this. So leave the kids alone. That's all I ask. Just leave the kids alone. Speaking of which, leave the kids alone. California school district pays children $1,400 to become racial and social justice warriors. The Long Beach Unified School District in California is funneling money to a progressive activist group which is paying students $1,400 each to become racial and social justice warriors. The district paid $900,000 to one-year contract to Californians for Justice, a youth-powered nonprofit that pushes racial injustice. Starting to run out of steam. Nonprofit that pushes racial justice ideology on children. Leave kids alone. Of that, $60,200 was allocated to pay 33 students and 10 families or parents $1,400 each to participate in CFJ's training programs. According to the contract, the program exists to provide assistance to teachers, administrators, and selective students in building strategies to support cultural understanding and change. Read, train them to be racist and continue the racial divide that is in the Western world now, because as the racial like the equal rights movement, they won. So now these are rebels without a cause, so they have to make up problems and business shit we've seen before. So they have to rate. So pretty much, this is them. They have to pay. This is where they're at right now. Okay, just think about it. This is where they're at right now. They have to pay the kids to be good little racists. That's how desperate they are to make make a problem where there isn't one. That's how desperate they are. So it's just like, yeah, I like this here quote. Another teacher, Jago Fisher, agreed, saying they're teaching them parenting, adding, which is the exact opposite of how you empower children. I agree. I don't know. Leave the kids alone. That's all I say. Just leave them alone. Okay, we're going to end on Sweet Home Alabama. Alabama sued over racial quota for real estate appraisers board. Civil rights group is suing Alabama for allegedly implementing illegal racial quotas in appointments to the Alabama Real Estate Appraisers Board. So I mentioned this before in the other articles, in that as the tide is turning, all of these, how do I put it? All these institutions that that the powers that be have promoted and stuff were themselves in and of themselves illegal. For example, hiring and not hiring people based on the color of your skin, aka diversity quotas, aka reverse racism, aka regular racism, is on the books illegal. And now now the chickens are coming home to roost, and that all these diversity fucks are realizing that this is going to cost you in the long run because you committed a crime. Let me get out my little violin. The lawsuit comes after Pacific Legal Foundation issued a report last year showing that as many 25 states enforce race or sex-based quotas for public board appointments. PLF said that there were 63 board mandates for race or sex-based appointments across the country. I think they meant county. I'm pretty sure they meant county. Promoted by vocal activists, these mandates threaten individual rights to equality before the law. Without action, problem is likely worsen, the report said. ARIB, which was created in 1990, licensed and regulates real estate appraisers in Alabama. Its 9 members are appointed by Alabama governor. As my reflex kicks in, I'm starting to sound like an Alabaman. But state law imposes racial criteria on appointments. At least 2 board members have to be a member of a racially minority group. There are currently 1 opening on the board for a public member, and state law requires the governor to consider race when appointing the person to fill the post. Such blatant racial discrimination against individuals who could otherwise sit on the ARIB serves no legitimate government purpose, according to new legal complaint in American Alliance for Equal Rights versus Ivy that was filed last month in the U.S. District Court, Middle District in Alabama, Northern Division. It is demeaning, patronizing, un-American, and unconstitutional, added the complaint. All correct points. Yep. Yep. So, so this is just this is just starting to make its way. This particular case was just starting to make its way through the courts, but there's a bunch of other ones that I've covered for a while now that are starting to make their way through the courts. And this is, I keep saying the tide is turning, and this is going to turn into a tidal wave, in that it's going to be slow, but it's going to be big, hard, maybe even throbbing. But it's going to be joking aside, it's going to be a mighty. It is in itself the mighty glacier, in that it's slow, steady, and it's unstoppable. And honestly, they have no one to blame but themselves. And every court case that gets won in terms of fighting against this utter madness is good. That's all I can say. It's good. And everyone I see, I'm going to report on, because by golly, this gives me a little bit of hope in my cold black soul. Okay. Well, I'm going to go make supper, take my antacid, shut up my phone for these Amber Alerts, because goddamn those are annoying. So, thanks for coming. Take it easy. Later.